For months, our team has been investigating a global online network of men who are secretly drugging and videotaping the sexual assault of their own wives and girlfriends. I've infiltrated that group, pretending to be one of them, and they've taught me how to buy the drugs, they've taught me how to sedate my wife, and they've taught me what to say in the morning if she complains about feeling off. We've done the investigation that police didn't do, and there's been an arrest.
That is very sad. Imagine dating someone or being married to someone, and in your head you think that person truly cares about you, and then when you go to bed, the person is filming you. When the person is making out with you, the person is filming the process without you knowing. That's crazy. Let's talk about dating lustful men and some signs that show that the man you're dating or you're married to might be lustful.
A lustful man is a dangerous man. Okay? Be very clear. A lustful man is a dangerous man. And this is why I don't deal with any type of form of no wandering eye, no anything like this. Because here's the thing. If you are so out of control of yourself, it has nothing to do with insecurity. Hear me, let me cook. If you are so out of control of yourself that we're just out and you just can't help, it's just in you to you have no control, you have no discipline, you have no sense of anything. And so if that lust get up on you real good, nigga, you already out of control. And a man that's out of control is dangerous. Let's be very clear. All right. So again, it has nothing to do with insecurity. It has everything to do with your ability to be in control of yourself, your ability to show some sort of restraint. And I'm not saying that, you might be physically aggressive. It doesn't matter. You are just too much of a risk. There are too many risk factors when it comes to a lustful man, girl. Be very careful. Lust is an energy. Right? When you are operating and dwelling in that lustful energy, it's primal. It's like animalistic. So your thinking, your logic, your reasoning, is out the window. It's out the window, girl. It's out the window. So if your man is already operating in lustful energy and that thing comes up over him and he's out of control, girl, he gonna jeopardize you, him, the kids. It don't matter. It don't matter. He's dangerous. We're talking about assets and liabilities, baby. That lust will make that man a liability immediately. The fuck time.
Dating a lustful man feels thrilling at first. It starts with the intense stares, constant touching, constant compliment, always touching you, always wanting more. If you're not careful, you can mistake that for passion or deep desire. In no time, you will come to the realization that you're not the one he's craving. He's craving the chase, the body, the novelty. Such men are addicted to the high lust, not the depth of love. Once the thrill fades away for him, so does the attention, and then you'll be left wondering, what was it at first? I thought this man was into me. No, he's just a lustful man.
Ladies, stay away from a lustful man. A lustful man, all he going to do is talk about inappropriate things and try to get into your pants, okay? That's all he's going to try to do. And I don't know how many times I got to say this, ladies, when you give your time and energy to a lustful man, you are downgrading yourself. You're basically saying you don't value yourself, okay? And ladies, also, you got to remember this. Just because you look good and stuff like that, don't think that you're the only one. He got other women on his roster when you don't do what he asks you to do. Let me just put it that way. When he asks you, oh, can we link up tonight and stuff like that, and you be like, nah, just know when you say no, he ain't too worried about it because he got other women on his roster. Ladies, stop giving lustful men your time and energy. Stop giving them your time and energy. You are downgrading yourself when you are giving yourself away to a lustful man. And ladies, when you're also sleeping with a lustful man, you are creating soul ties and you can possibly catch something from this man. You're not the only one that he's messing with. Okay, this man got other women on his roster. Just when you don't hit him back up or when you ignore him, he's not too mad because he got other women on his roster that he can go to when he don't get nothing from you. I'm keeping it a buck like this is because I done seen a lot of females go down this road. It is not a good road to go down on. I done seen a lot of women when they slept with a man that slept with other women and she caught HIV or STDs. Okay? I'm telling you, ladies, stop risking your life, okay, for a man that is lustful, because all this man is going to do is give you something that you don't want, okay? I'm telling you, stay away from a lustful man, because all he's going to do is bring you problems, lady.
How do you know you're dealing with a lustful man? He compliments your body more than your mind. He rushes physical intimacy but avoids deep conversation. He only calls you late at night or when he's in the mood. Booty call. He loses interest after sex. After sexing you, he wants to go home. He wants to go to work. He wants to work out. He wants to do something else. He doesn't want to be with you. He doesn't want to spend time with you after having sex with you. And when you set boundaries, he pulls away fast. He calls you names, says you're mean, because he wants you to break down the walls. He wants you not to have boundaries so he can have free access to your body.
It's so crazy because you can genuinely tell when a man is just using you for sex. You can tell if you're really looking hard enough when a man just wants to be intimate with you. The signs are always there. Constantly bringing up your body, constantly talking about how sexy you are, constantly trying to get you alone. Like, it ain't talking about going to no public places. I think if women, including me, started to understand this more or read between the lines more when it comes to this, a lot of time would be saved and you wouldn't even give those type of men a chance.
The difference between love and lust, he's only going to be there, only be convenient for you if you're giving him something in return. He'll say he loves you. He'll say, he'll be there for you, all this stuff if he's getting something. Love, he's going to do it unconditionally, whether he's getting something in return or not. Figure out if this guy actually loves you or if he's just lusting after you. And 9 times out of 10, he's just lusting after you. He doesn't really love or care about you, because when it's time to put up, he's not willing to do it unless he's getting something in return.
A lot of people who are lusted over, they never experience being truly loved, right? And that's the thing about said attractive people. Some attractive people, they never actually experience being truly loved. These are people that, they've either not been in a lot of real relationships, or they've been in a lot of real relationships that didn't amount to real love. They didn't amount to a person that really truly cared about them, really cared about who they were internally, really cared about who they were as a person, as a human being. These are people that they were in a relationship that the person really just used them for smecks, being objectified to a fault, being objectified and not taken seriously as a serious partner for a serious commitment. Long-term, long-life commitment.
Let's talk about submission in relationship and marriage. Men expecting women to submit to them, to serve them. And when women refuse to do that, same men will come up with an excuse, an explanation saying that them asking a woman to submit does not mean that they want to control her. What does submission mean? Why should you be submitting to someone else? Before we get right into that, let's have a look at this video.
So here's my theory on the dating market, and here's why y'all don't like it. So I had a comment the other day where this woman said that she submits too fast, and I wanted to tag it, but I couldn't find it. And I ended up having this conversation 5 times, in the last couple of days. And I'm like, there's no such thing. There's no such thing as submitting too fast or being too submissive or wife duties, right? And that's what we've heard. But here's why that doesn't make any sense. If you're naturally submissive, that's just you being normal. So now you're fighting being your normal self for what reason? Imagine it like this. Say I start talking to a chick, right? And I have all the intentions of getting into a relationship with her. However, I'm like, well, I'm not doing certain things because the last woman I dated took advantage of me. I'm not taking you out to eat. I'm not paying for nothing, loving on her and all the things, as y'all would say. And she was unappreciative of it. So I'm not going to do that for the next woman. Wouldn't that mean that I'm just not healed? Because now the new chick doesn't even get a fair shot because I'm not being normal around her. I'm withholding stuff that I would normally and naturally do. Why? So now when you look at the dating market, you got a bunch of people who's not doing anything at all because they're like, oh, I'm not doing that because the last person took advantage of that. And that's on both sides. So now you got a bunch of people just out there doing what? Withholding everything. If you truly do like somebody, you're just going to naturally do what you naturally do, right? And if it doesn't work out, it just doesn't work out. At some point in time, if you keep getting taken advantage of, you got to sit back and pick apart your decision making skills, because now you suck at picking partners. So that's on you. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like at some point in time, you can't keep blaming everybody else. Like, oh man, I care too much. Like I heard somebody say that before. Like I just care too much. That's not giving yourself constructive criticism. That's a cop out. You pick terrible partners. You feel what I'm saying? And now the dating market is probably flooded with a bunch of I'm not doing that because these people don't deserve it. And it's like, well, you haven't even met this person yet. This is a whole new person. You're not going to give them a fair shot at getting to know the real you based off of something somebody else did. This person ain't do nothing to you. So now, are you even healed? The answer is no. And you shouldn't even be out there dating. That's corny. And you messing up the date market. And you part of them people that should stay in the house because you're ruining everything. You're messing up the fun.
The dating market is messed up. Everyone is dating with expectations. Of course, you don't start a business without having expectations. So it's okay to date with expectations. You expect your partner to treat you right, isn't it? Yeah, it's normal. Men expecting women to submit. What does that tell you? It means that it's normal for them to be in charge, for them to be in control. Women thinking that it is their duty to submit. What does that mean? We have been groomed and conditioned to believe that we are supposed to submit to a man. What does submission mean? If you're submitting yourself to someone, it means you're under that person's control, and that is what men want. They want us to serve them and allow them to control us. That is what it is.
No, that's called empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. Submission is the action or fact of accepting or yielding to a superior force, to the will or authority of another. Submission is not the word that you think it is. What you're looking for is having empathy. If you're saying that somebody needs to bend to the will of another person's desires despite what they feel to understand what that other person wants, that is a dangerous narrative. It's very easy to tell somebody what you want and what you like. And for them to be like, okay, I understand that this is what you want and this is what you like. If somebody is forcing their desires on you and you bend to that, despite how you may feel about it, that is called slavery.
Doesn't it make you laugh that it literally triggers feminists when you say, like, I want to make my man a sandwich, or I want to serve him, or I want to be submissive? Why do you get so mad by that? Why does that trigger you? Like, let's just reflect for a second. When you find a good man, you love doing those things for him. I don't know about you, but I love to make my husband food. He wants a sandwich, I will go gladly make him a sandwich. He wants me to pack his lunch. No problem. That's not an issue for me. Like, why does that get you so mad when you hear other women saying they want to serve their husband or their household? Why do you guys get so triggered?
I don't think anyone gets triggered. They are just worried for you because you obviously don't understand what it means to serve, what submission truly means. No one is saying that you should not be there for your husband if your husband has been a good man to you. Doing basic things for him is you serving him, and that is what men are all about. The problem here is this: she does not understand what men are all about, what men see marriage to be, how men view women, what the game they are playing is all about. That's why she does not see anything wrong with using the word submission and service, because if she does, I don't think she will be using those words. She can do what she's doing, but using those words, nah, that's where the problem is. You saying you're serving your husband, you are submitting to your husband, that is basically you solidifying the slave master relationship narrative. It should be partnership. In partnership, no one is serving, no one is submitting. It's all about agreement, mutual respect. No one is above anyone, no superiority, no one is beneath anyone, no one is anyone's subordinate. The both of you are there as a team member, a team player. You're there to work together for a better life, not for one person to serve the other or for one person to submit to the other person.
True sovereignty is the opposite of submission. Submission cannot be the same as sovereignty. Submission is when you have either your sovereignty taken from you or you give it and then you don't get sovereignty anymore. Submission is what patriarchy and patriarchal cultures, patriarchal systems try to impose on women and minorities and other marginalized people. What is all of this rhetoric that we're hearing about the gender identity, whatever the right-wing people say about gender, that the left is trying to impose a gender identity crisis? No. What they're telling you is that their version requires that you submit. That it doesn't matter what you think or what you feel or what you believe or what you experience. It matters what they say. So you submit to their authority. That's what they're saying. They want women to submit to the authority of men. They want gender nonconforming people to submit to the authority of their binary. They want people of color to submit to white people. They want submission. They know if they use that language that it will piss you off. So I'm going to use that language. You want me to submit to you. You want me to submit my sovereignty to your authority. Yeah, no, that's not about to happen.
Everybody talks about submission, but you may not have considered this perspective.
I think culture has done submission a bad number, right? I think when women in culture hear submission, they think slave, they think you have no rights, they think you have no voice, you have no value, they think doormat, right?
Yeah.
But biblically speaking, when I hear submission, I think safety. I hear protection. I hear guidance, right? And I will go so far as to say you really don't need submission when you have agreement, right? Submission is only necessary when you don't have agreement. So like we know what the scripture says, wives submit to your husbands.
Yeah.
But then it tells husbands love your wife as Christ loves the church. So if a husband is loving his wife the way he's supposed to, right, it will be easier for her to submit to him as the head of the home. But think about this, right? There's one steering wheel in a car. One. Right? If both people grab that steering wheel, you're both trying to drive, you're going to get into a crash, right? But as long as the car is flowing, there's no need for two hands to be on that steering wheel. So like, watch, my wife never has to submit to me unless we disagree. As long as we're in agreement, we're flowing, right? If we're in agreement about how we're managing our budget, we're flowing. How we're dealing with our kids, we're flowing. Where they're going to go to school. The only time submission is really necessary is when the husband and wife disagree. Now, when we have a disagreement, if we go according to the scriptures, the man, the head of the home, he makes a decision. The wife then submits. But that is only necessary when y'all disagree. But you don't need submission as long as you're in agreement. That's why I think agreement is even more powerful than submission.
A woman who is willing to be a woman and not try to wrestle with a man to be the man in a situation. And so a man loves femininity in a woman, that softness, that grace in a woman, right? When she's able to submit herself to the man to be the man, right? That is a very ticklish subject for a lot of women, the word submission, because they think it means to be a slave or to be stepped on or to be controlled. Any man who is controlling a woman, it is wrong and you should not do it. Any man who is abusing or using a woman, it is wrong and you should not do it.
A real man won't control you.
Never. God does not desire. When the Bible talk about submission has nothing to do with control.
The concept of submission, I find it to be a very simple thing.
For me, when I hear the concept of submission, as far as you're concerned, because at least you've shared your thoughts, I will use you as my case study. When I hear the kind of woman you describe, I honestly, in my mind, I hear a slave.
Okay, so let me give you an example. Because for me, my understanding of marriage is I view it as what it was intended to be, an institution. And all institutions have hierarchy. Whether it's a communal organization, whether it's a tribal organization, a political organization, or a business organization, a company. It's hierarchy. There's a structure. There's people in charge at different levels. There's people who report to others. There's a system of accountability and responsibility, and then that is how it functions. A company could not function if it had two decision makers. Now, a company can have, for example, a managing director or a CEO, and then it can have maybe a general manager, or it could have line managers that handle different areas of responsibility, and their job is to advise the managing director on what the right course of action is, the right plans, marketing or strategies, all these things. They present these things to the managing director, and then the managing director vets these ideas and then decides if those ideas are worth going forward with. And if he likes it, he will go ahead with it. And if he doesn't like it, the manager doesn't usually get to say, to hell with you, I'm going with my idea anyway. Usually, a manager shall submit and will either accept that maybe his ideas were not sufficient to please the boss and may try to do better next time, or he could say, you know what, this boss doesn't know what he's doing, to hell with him, I'm quitting. I feel like marriage should be the same way. If you have a wife, if you have a husband, your job is to advise. So I don't believe that a woman should just be quiet. I believe in a dynamic where if there are opinions she has, she is free to express those opinions at all times and on any issue. However, submission to me means express your opinions to me,
but I make the last decision.
I make the final decision. Once I've taken into consideration your viewpoint, it can go one of two ways. Either I am convinced of the advice you're giving me, and I believe that your suggestion is a good one, I go with it, or I do not believe it to be sufficient and I will maybe go with an alternative plan. Either way, whatever I decide, you have to respect and to not argue with me about.
I feel like
how is that complicated?
No, it is actually not complicated, but at the same time, it doesn't mean it makes sense, because there are things in marriage you're going to have to discuss with your wife that doesn't only require your final decision. For instance, you may be the one paying school fees for your child now that you are a father, but the mother weighs in unheavily on where the child goes to school. Her decision does not come alone. This is where you both have to agree, not you to say, this is what I've decided and this is what we are going with.
So for me, I have a complete problem with that. I cannot be committed to a woman who does not accept my absolute authority and my absolute final say.
Absolute authority.
Absolute.
Do I need to explain further? No. Men are saying it the way it is. This is what they mean when they talk about submission. Absolute control, absolute order. You don't question it. They have the final say. That is slavery. Don't let anyone sugarcoat anything. Don't let anyone twist it to deceive you. It is pure slavery. You cannot be in a relationship with someone and the person is treating you that way. I've spoken about this a lot on this channel. In men's head, the moment they marry you, they just bought themselves a service human being, a service girl, a slave girl. So you are expected to take orders from them and not question their decision. A lot of men reason this way. Don't let anyone deceive you. Please let me know what you think about this video in the comment section. And if you'd love to watch more videos like this, click this video to watch men blame women for their singlehood and them being lustful. And I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.